We were invited to another potluck, so today we are going to show you exactly what we made for our potluck.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the High Path channel and kitchen. My name is Rosa, this is Mercy, Isaiah, Grace, and we have Israel over there that's going to be helping very soon. Today we are going to be making some food that we're going to bring to a non-vegan potluck. It's going to be another potluck with our skate crew. They are doing a little barbecue, and so we are going to be bringing some of the foods that we can eat, and of course we're going to be making everything from scratch, pretty much everything. So let's go. So on the list today, we are going to be making garlic knots. I think that's going to be so delicious, but I'm going to put a little bit of a twist to it. I'm going to make it a little bit more flavorful, I'd say, and a little bit Asian-y. The next thing we're going to be making is our own brownie recipe. So I just printed our own brownie recipe. You could definitely check the link in the description for a written recipe. But this is our spelt brownie recipe. It's fudgy and delicious. It's always a crowd pleaser. And I figured it'd be a nice sweet treat to take to the barbecue. And alongside, I've also purchased some like Beyond Burgers for the kids and I for the grill. And so we're gonna have our friends help us grill some of those, and we're gonna make our own hamburger buns, of course. So let's get started on the bread because that needs to rise, and then we're gonna do some brownies. Now I've already made a batch of dough here earlier. I was just going to make some hamburger buns, but I was thinking like maybe I need to bring something else. And the last time we brought some twice baked potatoes. If you're interested to know what we brought the last potluck, I will have that link in the description down below, so you could check out that video as well. It was a really, really fun time. This dough, I'm going to show you how to make. It's just a very quick, easy yeast dough recipe that really I don't really measure anything with, and so I'm going to show you how to make it in here. So 3 cups of water. In this bowl, we're going to be making our garlic knot dough. And to season this really well, we're going to just put the water. So we added 3 cups of water. We are going to add about 2 teaspoons of salt. So I'm just going to put 1, 2 roughly. We're going to sprinkle some active dry yeast. The secret ingredient that I am going to be using for our garlic knots is organic miso paste. Now, I have a theory, which I think I'm going to test in a little bit, but I have a theory that if you put miso in anything, it's going to bring out that delicious umami flavor. And I'm willing to challenge that, and I may make a separate video on all things I'm going to put miso in. But so for a garlic knot, I figured it's going to add this nice savoriness to it. So, because normally when we eat garlic knots, it's kind of like bready, and it's not very flavorful on the bread, the inside, like the bread. So I'm gonna add about 1 spoonful of organic miso paste in the water. So put that in. Grace, can you grab some sugar? It's right there. Yep. Okay. Yep. In goes. Stir, stir, stir. Yeah, so just stir that. Okay, 1. Mix it, mix it. Oh!
That's happened to me, but it all splashed all over my face. And you and I were making candles.
And just to amp up that umami-ness, we're gonna add a little bit of onion powder in here as well. So just put it all in there, maybe like a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons. Okay, that's a good.
It's not 2 teaspoons. That's like 3 tablespoons. Yeast. Nutritional yeast.
Oh yeah, and nutritional yeast. And to make it cheesy and delicious, we will also add some nutritional yeast. Okay. That's good. So at first the dough is going to be a little bit shaggy, but that's okay. We're going to let it sit for a little bit. Once the dough is mixed nicely, see, it's kind of still not really together. You can knead this if you want to, but yeah, you don't want to add too much flour. Once this settles and sits,
need oil.
Nope. All right, good. That's it. Now cover that with something. So that dough is covered. We're gonna let that sit in a warm place for about 35-45 minutes until it rises a little bit. I do want to do some stretches and pulls, or stretch and folds with some wet hands in about 15-20 minutes or so, but we'll check up on it and I'll show you what it looks like. So in here we started some dough maybe at about 9 o'clock, maybe like an hour or so ago. And this is made with a very, very simple bread dough recipe. If you want to check out the video that I have in the description showing you how to make bread, this is basically how I made it. I didn't really measure, but yeah, it's nice and poofy and it's ready to be shaped for hamburger buns. So Israel, are your hands clean?
Yes.
Okay, deflate that, Israel.
How?
Okay. See how many we can do.
She made a good flower.
1, maybe 6.
Who can I help? My piece?
Yeah, here. So we're gonna fold it like this, tuck it in. Don't flatten it, okay? Just because there's lots of air bubbles in there that we need to keep. You're going to then pinch it. Okay? Then we're gonna 1, all the corners, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, something like that. Roll it like this on itself. And then you get a little round circle. Then you're going to turn it over, Mercy. That. And tuck it in as you roll, Israel. Tuck it as you roll.
How does that mean?
Tuck it like this, look. You're pulling it, tightening it. See that? Like that.
I think it's gonna work because it needs to be like embedded in there, right?
I'm having the kids complete the rest of the dough. They look pro when they are shaping this dough. I am so proud of them, and they're definitely a great help in the kitchen. Going back to the garlic knot dough, this is what it looks like after it's proofed. So it doesn't look smooth or anything. I'm gonna go dip my hands in some water, and with the wet hands, I'm going to do a few stretch and folds. I'm basically just picking up the dough, stretching it, and then putting it down, turn 90 degrees, and then doing it again. This really helps the dough become really nice and smooth, and it really just helps develop that gluten. Our hamburger buns have been sitting and proofing for about 15-20 minutes or so in a nice warm spot, and it has totally poofed up. It's nice and ready to go to bake. I'm splashing it with a little bit of water before we bake them in a hot oven. We have our oven preheated at about 400 degrees, and we're going to put this in for about 20 minutes or so.
Now we are going to be making our spelt brownie recipe, but we're going to not make it spelt. We're going to use just some organic all-purpose flour because that's what we've got. So let's just follow this. If you want the printable version, I will have the link in the description so you can check it out. So we're gonna just follow it. This is kind of weird, following our own recipe. I haven't made brownies in a while, and so yeah, let's just follow it. So let's just do the ground flax first. We like to start off with the flax eggs because you need to kind of let it sit a little bit. So we're gonna just let it sit and then it will kind of congeal and become sort of like an eggy consistency. So in this recipe, I did mention that we needed a 1/4 cup of molasses. We looked high and low, we couldn't find our molasses today, so we're gonna do without. And I made this recipe with molasses the first time, and I wrote it this way because the molasses adds this delicious, rich, ooey gooey type of flavor, this caramelized deliciousness in the back end of the brownies, and it also adds just that depth of flavor. Now, we're gonna try without it, so we're gonna see what happens, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna taste delicious, but we just don't have molasses today. 2/3 cup coconut oil.
Once we've combined our sugar and our coconut oil, we're going to throw in our flax eggs. We're going to also use some apple cider vinegar in here for a little bit of rise. So I've got about 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. We're going to add some vanilla. We had so little of this, but I just used whatever that we had.
Cacao powder.
Ow.
1 cup.
That's some of this.
That's too dark. That's for Oreos. 1 cup.
Look at our gorgeous golden brown hamburger buns, and the sesame seeds stuck, so this was a success. Alrighty, back to the brownies. So we're adding some flour. You can use organic spelt flour if you have. We just have our regular flour, and then we're going to add a little bit of baking soda as well. When you mix this up, you will definitely get a really nice and thick consistency like this. We're going to parchment line one of our 9x13s, I believe this was. We're going to just spoon it in, and we have our oven preheating at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. We will be baking this for about 25-30 minutes. I set the timer for 30 minutes. You can go 25. It just depends on your oven.
Our garlic knots are about to be made, so I'm just chopping up some fresh garlic here, and I've also got some parsley as well. We're going to I was thinking maybe we can fold in some garlic into the dough and toss it with the sauce as well. I think because
some cheese in it.
Garlic, oh yeah, and then Israel wanted to put some cheese in it.
I'm never gonna do it. Mercy, you just ruined the whole deflation.
We added some garlic in here, and now we're just going to fold it into the dough itself. While they're going to be working on the dough, I am going to prepare a cup of, this is just a measuring cup with some garlic. I'm going to add some chopped parsley, just some very finely chopped parsley.
Since we have a small surface area, I'm going to split our dough up. So I've got a little piece of dough here. I'm going to cut some strips. So however many strips that I can, keep them small, and then we are going to make some knots.
Go 1, 2, and then just tuck it in. It doesn't have to be perfect, it's just a round ball. Get stuff in your hair.
What's wrong with my hair?
Get that off, Mercy.
Why? Now you made me mess this up. Now look at it. Well, no.
We're going to do the same thing we did for our hamburger buns, and that's just to cover it a little bit. We're going to let it proof for about 15-20 minutes until it is doubled. Now the brownies are done. Let's take it out and let's check up on it. The middle of this brownie should be still very nice and soft. Once it cools, it will kind of just finish cooking, so you don't want to overcook this. You can see that the garlic knots are ready to go. They have poofed and about doubled in size almost. We're going to drizzle a little bit of the coconut oil on the top so it bakes up nice and golden brown. We have this in at about 375 degrees for about 15-20 minutes.
So while this is hot, I have my garlic and parsley mixture here. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and olive oil. Yep. Careful. A little bit more. A little bit more. Okay.
We need the garlic flavor to come out.
Yeah. Let's mix it hard.
He said mix it hard. Whisking eggs.
In a bowl, we're gonna add these knots. They're actually no longer knots. They're like little buns, but that's okay.
That one's a knot.
Isaiah,
I'm told.
it's hot. Woo! Woo! Woo!
We have 2 bowls, one for the cheesy garlic knots and we have another one for just the regular one. We are going to toss our olive oil, garlic, and parsley mixture all up in there. We're going to make sure every single knot is covered in this delicious sauce.
We have the 2 here. We've got the cheesy ones and we've got the regular ones. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of put a lid or a cover on here and let it just sit and marinate in this until we are ready to go tonight. I am just tasting one of the garlic knots, and it's the one that we put like extra seasonings. We put the miso in it. You can really smell the miso in here. It adds this savoriness, and I think I really love it. I think we could definitely put more. It's flavorful, this dough. It's so good. You could definitely put more. But yeah, I'm just quality controlling. We have a couple of hours before we have to pack up really soon, and we're gonna have dinner with everybody tonight, and we will see you at the skate park.
To prepare the brownies, I'm going to cut them in advance so that we don't have to bring a knife or cut it at the skate park. So I'm just going to cut these in little squares and put them in a little glass container. Everything was packed. We arrived at the skate park. Israel's doing his thing. We have a whole table of all of our goodies and snacks. Everyone had a great time. We grilled up our Beyond Burgers and they were delicious on our hamburger buns, and everyone just had a great time. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We really hope that we inspired you, and we will see you on the next video. Bye everybody.